So is it okay to put your payment terms on your invoice? Well, of course it's great to put your payment terms on the invoice, because the invoice is the thing that's going to go to your customer's accounts payable person, if they have one, whoever's responsible for paying your bills, and it's useful for them to know how long they've got to pay. The issue is if you only put your payment terms on your invoice, and that's because by the time you invoice, your contract has already been created. So any extra terms that you might impose on your invoice that didn't appear in your contract itself have no legal effect. So when I talk about your contract itself, what exactly do I mean? Well, if you trade on your terms and conditions and you've said to your customer, these are our T's and C's, if they've then placed a purchase order and you've gone out and delivered, you will be considered to have accepted the terms and conditions on their purchase order. You can see more about that in one of our earlier videos. So those terms and conditions are the ones that apply. And if you subsequently introduce new terms on your invoice, for example, that's after the fact. From a contractual point of view, it's irrelevant. It's wallpaper, and you might think that applies, but your customer doesn't have to stick to it. So if you want your customer to pay on your payment terms, make sure they're clearly set out in your T's and C's, and that your T's and C's are the ones that apply. Recently we had some building work done, and our plumber submitted a quote that didn't have any reference to payment terms on it at all. When he sent us his invoice, not only did he say his payment terms were 7 days from the date on the invoice, he also said he was going to charge us a whopping 30% interest on any overdue payments. Totally unenforceable. It was after he'd delivered the goods and services and didn't apply. In England, you have access to some legislation called the Late Payment of Commercial Debts Interest Act that set out your right to charge interest on late payments. There's even a late payment interest calculator if you go to www.payontime.co.uk, and that will tell you what you can charge for late paid interest, even if you haven't specified anything in your terms and conditions about it. So go and check that out. Make sure that you don't rely on the payment terms that you put on your invoice, but that you've got them clearly agreed up front with your customer, ideally before they place their order, and definitely before you start delivering.